Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Hit that subscribe button below.
For me to go from 0 to 20 loans a month in 6 months, in a single month, the main thing is I kept the main thing. I knew that my number one priority is to get loans, not to learn programs, not to learn what's the best rate, what's the best this. It's how can I connect with people? How can I connect with them and learn about them first and foremost? So I went all in on just sales frameworks, dialogues, influence in ways that I could influence people to say yes.
How did you find the people?
Well, I mean, it's mostly real estate agents, but real estate agents is one that's everybody talks to, right? Everybody talks to real estate agents. Everybody, is going after real estate agents. However, a lot of people are just not successful with gaining trust from a real estate agent. One thing that people were marveled at is like, well, you're new. Then they ask if you're new. And like, I never really got that question asked, simply because I showed up with authority, showing up as an expert, showing up as someone that's interested in them, someone that created the authority off the bat that this was going to be a relationship that was going to be collaborative, not showing up with rates, terms, all that stuff.
But how did you go out and actually meet them?
Yeah, I called and I just didn't make the same simple mistakes that people make off the bat, which is, hey, Tim, how are you doing? Sales resistance off the bat. Tim, I'm calling because I got this event going on January 19th at 11:30 to 1 that's going to completely change the way you sell in your business today. Something you're calling for a reason. I'm calling powerfully for a reason. I'm calling in a benefit to them. What is the benefit to the agent themselves? Then to be able to sit down and have a conversation. At that point, I didn't have marketing so much figured out. I didn't have all these nuances that I do now figured out. However, what I did have figured out is how to connect with people, how to have correct conversations. And one of the biggest flips it happened was with me, and I already had this in my mind, and I didn't realize this was such a big deal until I started coaching loan officers, is that the whole metaphor cold call, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
It sucks. We can't call it a cold call. First, I always thought, I said it off the bat before I was coaching. I just remember hearing cold call. And I said, how is that a cold call? I'm calling a real estate agent that is doing business in my field.
And they say, because you don't know them. Because you don't know them.
Because I don't know them, right? But I think that I just never went down that rabbit hole. I never allowed myself to go, I'm calling Tim and this is going to be a cold call. I'm calling Tim, this is a warm call. Like, he's in my field. Like, I have something that he's going to find valuable. I'm going to help him, not, hey, listen, because the biggest thing is what even in our conversation so far, the moment I came to you and I talked to you and the first time I see you, you feel I need you to get where I need to go. Our frame is totally off. Meaning that you need me. So now the paradigm shift is, okay, I'm in control of this relationship. And this is a big thing that I just had a video about, where the lie being told is whoever has the referral is giving the referral is in charge of the relationship. That's just BS. And the moment we start thinking that, for example, Tim, you can go to a financial advisor that gets to the client before you do. If they're referring you clients, are they in charge of that relationship? No, not unless that's the way you frame it, not unless you show up that way, unless that is your whole mindset, rather than, hey, I'm going to serve the hell out of this client, and then I'm going to work that client for a referral as well, and then refer it back. And we're having collaboration. It's going to make his job easier. It's going to save him time. They're going to have fun doing business together, because there's 3 value adds that, for example, a loan officer can do for a real estate agent. It's 3. It's take care of the business, grow the business, have fun. It really is those 3. It's really those 3, right? You got to take care of the business. I got to help you grow your business, but that doesn't mean I'm, paying for stuff or going crazy. It means, can I work that referral for another referral? Can I be so good at the fall through and quick to the fall through that you're able to convert more? On and on and on. There's a lot of layers, right? And then have fun. If your deal is under contract, are you happy to call me, right? Are you happy to call me because you enjoy speaking to me? Or is that friction? So it's kind of like this. I had a client, we have these playbooks around the country. They go around the country. They put their own brand on it. And so I design those, they brand their own brand and they handle it. So this one loan officer had 60 of them that he had handed out, had some conversation with, et cetera. And I said, what's your follow through with these agents? And he said, well, not very good. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to call all these real estate agents and set an appointment and go back through this and make sure that you're having correct conversations and you're able to learn about each other. So we have our next coaching call and he says, I don't know if this was your intention, Adam, but I started calling these real estate agents and I was like, man, this is a good one. I love this real estate agent. Oh my gosh, this real estate agent's awesome. We had this collaboration. And then I would look some of the names on the paper. I'm like, I don't really want to call them. He said, I realize like there's so many I don't actually really want to work with. I'm like, bingo. That's how you grow your business. Like right. I'm working with people I want to. And because we bleed our energy when we start going, okay, well, I don't want to work with Sally over here. But then when I show up for you, Tim, then my energy bleeds down. Then I start having that little bit of my unconscious, your unconscious is showing you that my body language and everything else is saying that I need you. And then it's now I'm not attracting the relationships that really should be in my circle.
That falls right in line when I talk to people and I have coached and trained a lot of agents and a lot of other businesses too. I have three things, which really are two. One is, can I help other people? That's really first. If I'm not going to be helping somebody, what am I doing it for? The second one is, and I know there's reasons why, right? Money wise, there's reasons why. But the other one is the reason why. Make enough money to pay the bills and have fun, which is the third one, but it really is the second one. Yeah. So it's like, if I'm not helping people and they're not getting something out of it, then it's like, yeah, it's just not feeling good to me. I've coached a lot of people that they pay me and I go, but you didn't do anything with it. What are you doing? And I start feeling, I don't like that. I kind of get turned off to that part of it. And that repels me from doing business with them. What's the same thing with customers for you with real estate agents, me with, and you and I with both everybody that we deal with, right? I mean, you either like the people or you don't, which is interesting that when I saw your name, I didn't know you from Adam.
Right?
Yeah. But there was something about what you put out and I went, I want to go see Adam.
Yeah.
And I literally drove 40 minutes to come down and meet you. And I wanted to meet the agents in there, but it was really to meet you to see what you were doing. And especially right at that time, because at the time of COVID, I'm going, who's out doing this? What's the kind of your mindset about how you're going to get these people? What are your expectations about who's going to show up? I was impressed by your enthusiasm, your kind of unwillingness to just kind of go, this is not a good time to do it. And I just asked you that question again for the one coming up on the 19th. So you got a lot of courage going on there.
That's one way of looking at it. I mean, I guess sometimes when you just do stuff repeatedly and that's just kind of how you show up, it fails to be a muscle that you're really training. It's, the rate of perceived exertion, right? Like, when you back in the lifting days, when I was first lifted 300 pounds on a bench, it was hard. It was everything I had. And then after a while, it was my warm up and the rate of perceived exertion wasn't there. So as you build these muscles and you just say, you know what, that's just how I'm showing up. And I think that these expectations can kill people. And I talk to people all the time, these loan officers, this expectation, oh my gosh, if I don't have 15 or 20 people, 30 people show up it's going to be a failure. Listen, if we have 2 people show up and you're able to have a great conversation, at the end of the day, you prepare, you learn, you have a reason to call, you have a reason to reach out, you have a reason to show value, and you're showing up just with this authority, whether it be with 2 or whether it be with 50. And so you're showing up and you're just like, hey, listen, I'm going to deliver to whoever's here. And like, I'm going to show up and I have personal integrity. And when I have personal integrity, then I'm going to transfer that trust and that permission for you to have personal integrity and show up in a different way. And I think that that's just the transference that I want to continue to help people to have. If they do business with me or not, if I transfer some trust to them, transfer some permission to them to show up different, that's the greatest gift we can ever give someone, is for them knowing us, that they have a permission to act in a way they would not have without us, because we all need permission. Like, everybody thinks I don't need permission. This is where authority and everything shows up. We all need permission. That's why, when we see someone, for example, my business partner was saying he was in a mall not long ago and he moved, his daughter and them were standing in one place and nobody was standing at this other spot. because something was going on. It was, kind of some just mayhem, whatever. And so when he moved over, within 5 minutes, 20 different people were over there, right? And so that's just the way tribes and permission work, because we have this script. Everybody has a script. It's our job to help people break their script, because the script is, okay, I've got to sit down at this certain time. I got to do this certain time. I've got to act this certain way because this is the setting for it. And we can break that script and give them permission to now have a childlike permission to now do things they would not normally do and show up in a different way. It's the greatest permission we can give people. And I tell you, that's a beautiful thing. So that's what I come there to do.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it really is true. And I know what you're talking about, because there are a lot of times when people just are, for whatever reason, they're hesitant. There's so much uncertainty about things. They're uncomfortable taking the risk. And when somebody else kind of just goes, yeah, there's really nothing there. There's no risk there. I'm just going to go do it. And all of a sudden, kind of other people follow. Really have that permission. They have the leadership a lot of times.
Yeah, I think we always have to question like what permission we have. And I question myself that, and always trying to break those limits. And I have a coach too, right? Breaking me out of limits and going, okay, like why am I having, for example, like I have massive permission, like when I get on stage. Like for me, I'm telling you right now, if you put a stage with and said, I got 5,000, you're going to speak in front of 5,000 people on this subject matter, hell yeah, I'm in. I got permission. I'm freaking showing up. I'm freaking going after it. I have permission. People are there to listen. The people are there to grow. I got permission. I have just extreme confidence in doing that. But then other settings, maybe I don't have that same permission. Now, can I break that? So for example, if I'm walking in somewhere and I don't know everybody, and I'm not the leader of that whole get together, and I'm kind of walking in, don't know people, do I have that same permission? I do not. So how do I continue to go, okay, let's break this and now have a conversation. Now I have to, and I have done that. I have to break that and go, okay, no, I'm not going to just do kind of what I've allowed my permission to do up until this point, which is just, okay, I'm going to come in kind of, hey, what's going on? Instead of like, man, let's dive in here. Let's have real conversations. So let's just, I don't care what it is. Like the tribe is a real thing. I think it's very vital that we understand that the human behavior, why it is, and the DNA that's just passed on for so long is that we once were killed and ostracized for not fitting into a tribe, right? If you're in a tribe and you didn't do something correct, you could be ostracized forever. So we still have that, like it's the tires and everything else going on that we have in our DNA, that we think that something's going to just tragically happen to us if we step out of line. We're going to be so ostracized, and it's really not true. That's why people have, of course, a problem with public speaking. People don't have that permission like I do, but they
don't feel it. They don't feel it. They don't feel it. You feel it,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, other people get the permission, but because they get invited to do that. Not always, but there are people who do get invited, and they do have that fear of public speaking.
Yeah, they have the permission outwardly, but not inwardly.
Right. So you feel it inside. That's great. Where'd you get that from? Was that a kid thing, or how'd you get that?
That is such an interesting question, and I appreciate that, Tim. I'll probably let you down on that answer because I really don't honestly know. Like, it's one of those that I've been asked before, because it is a strange thing, right? Somebody typically doesn't want to get on stage. And growing up, when I would be called in for class, right? I'd be sitting there and, got my pencil about to fall out of my hand from boredom, and the teacher would call and like, hey, come up here. And oh gosh, like just eyeballs big. I didn't want to get in front of class. I was like, just nervous, even if I knew the subject matter. And I don't know where that switch came. I honestly cannot. And I've tried to place that.
Really? You have?
I have. I've tried to, because I study myself, because I want to, obviously I study a lot of human behavior. Like I'm deep into it. I don't know how many thousands of dollars I spent this last year on that. And I'm in a mastermind with like some of the highest level people out there. And I'm always going deep in that. I've never really placed that. I actually hired a new amazing coach as well that goes deep in. I think that I want to actually uncover that, because that's a good secret sauce, right? Like, where did that come?
Part of your huge story. right?
Right. Like where'd that come? How did I do that? How do I repeat that in different areas?
Especially
Right.
when you just talked about the fact that you didn't like to get up in school, even though you knew the material.
Yeah.
So something happened there where you kind of learned or you experienced.
It's such a weird thing that I can't place that. Nor typically I can place everything. That's been the one bugaboo for me not being on the place. But I will actually be going into that with my coach to try to
That's cool.
dig in
That's
because
cool.
not because it's just like, hey, I want to know about myself and no, it's all about myself. It's okay, how can I take that and apply it to other things? What was those triggers that maybe that I can repeat? It's repeatable in other areas of life, right? And then also, how can I in turn help other people obviously with this?
Is that
So
transferable? I think one of the things that's really important for people, and I'm really love that you're talking about this with me, because for years, I talked about the fact that if you go into a restaurant, for instance, you'll see in good restaurants, you'll see something about how it was found, how it was created, what happened, who the people are, who the owners were, what their trajectory was, what their goal was, kind of their story, right? You see that at most restaurants. And in business, you see that with good people, with really good people. They tell you their story. When you're speaking, that's the thing that you connect with. I remember listening to Tyler Perry one time talk about his story of growing up and being homeless and living in the backseat of his car. You're looking at Tyler Perry going, you're kidding me. You were homeless in your car at 18. Like, wow. And now you're Tyler Perry. It's like that story and the reasons that he got there really touch people. And when they do that, then you start to touch their insides and go, yeah, you got this too. I'll be really excited to hear what you come up with on that one. That's going to be a kind of an interesting revelation. I don't know if it'd be big, but it'd be interesting.
I'm intrigued by, you're intrigued because you have, I don't know if that's been a natural curiosity for you, for just curiosity in humans, curiosity in someone being different. I don't know where that curiosity comes from, but it's cool to see because I'm sure that's really helped you with relationships, with your business, and just, more open and focused on the things that can really help you. I love that because that's a very uncommon trait for people.
Yeah, no, I am curious. I do like the curiosity part. That probably is the other curiosity can kill the cat too, right?
Yeah, I think curiosity is a superpower. I firmly believe that. In fact, Dallas is extremely gifted with this curiosity. My business partner, and it seems like you have that same trait and that same superpower, because the fact is like I've seen it with him and I'm seeing it here on this conversation with you, is that when you're curious like that, you can go a couple levels deeper, right? And get to more feelings, more action. Just this conversation, there's deeper level of connectivity. There's deeper level of rapport. There's deeper level of understanding with each other. And when you can do that, you can influence at a higher level, which is huge. So I think curiosity is one thing that people are not good enough at. And we talked earlier about how did you become so successful so quick on sales? And you have to throw in that curiosity. Curiosity was one of those things, like curious about you, Tim, not, hey, listen, hey, here's my products and services and everything else. It's just like people talk about communication, for example, between a real estate agent and a loan officer is vital. And that's one of the biggest things that real estate agents want. But if we just say, hey, by the way, communication, I'm great on communication, it just, right?
Kind of flat.
Right, because I've heard that all the time. What are you supposed to say? However, if we're curious about each other and we have real genuine conversations, I don't need to tell you that we're going to have good communication during the process. It's just implied. Like we're having a conversation. Do I need to tell you we're good in communication if we just have communication? That is the proof in the pudding. So it's not like, hey, Tim, I have great communication. Or you're showing me a great communication. And curiosity really does that. When you start level deeper, in turn, someone knows that, hey, listen, if you talk to a client, I'm probably going to treat them in such a way like you treated me, right? You treat them in good, and that's just implied. So I think that, it's a superpower in so many ways, but it also demonstrates to, in our sales conversations, how we're going to show up, how we're going to communicate, and how we're different from everybody else. So I love the curiosity.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I appreciate your kind of bringing it out and talking about it. I got a couple other things and I don't want to waste a lot of your time because I got some real objectives. I have some real objectives.
Okay.
Believe it or not. The first one was getting to know you. and kind of see how learn for myself what my kind of instinct was about the attraction, right? Because it was instinctual more than it was like, I didn't look up at him. I didn't check you out at all. I just saw what you were doing and I went, huh, this is really kind of unusual. I want to go see this. So part of it, are you actually doing loans still, or are you doing mostly just coaching?
Yeah, no, I do. I'm slinging loans. We have a great team that takes care of most of it. On the front end, and I have the relationships with the real estate agents, and the buck stops obviously with me if anything needs to be done. So somebody calls me and, hey, listen, this is not going correct. Let me get to the bottom of it. So yeah, slinging a lot of loans, but I have a big focus on the coaching.
So you've got a team for your loan production.
Mm-hmm.
Is that same team function for your coaching business?
No, totally separate.
Totally separate. Okay.
Totally separate. Yeah.
And then you mentioned that you've got at least one coach and you've had coaches.
Yeah.
Who's your coach now?
His name's Paul Ross. But I've had several coaches. Mike Sirocco, I had him for a little while. He's in the bone business and high level guy. Of course, Dallas was a big mentor of mine. I had a different coaching program platform. Guy's name was Richard. Typically, I'll have a one-on-one coach, and then sometimes I'll go through and not have one, just to kind of have a little more free thought and go, okay, I'm just going to break from this. But I also always in some kind of, like, I'm in a mastermind as well. And then now I recognized I need to get back to the one-on-one coaching at this point, simply because, there's some stuff that's a little scattered, some stuff I need to dig in a little harder, some stuff I need someone to hold me accountable to. So yes, I believe in it. 100%. I don't sell services that I don't believe in. I believe in coaching and mentorship like no others. I spent, I don't know how much it was, $60,000-$70,000 probably this last year in mentorship and trainings and stuff like that.
That's more than most people make, right?
Yes. I believe in it. Yeah. Well, for me, it's like, as soon as keep investing back in this right here, because as in our business and in both the spaces I'm in, the exponential growth you can have and how much money you can make is there. But I would very much limit myself, and I would be limiting my clients. Like, for me, I could coach my clients at a high level and not learn another thing. But I tell you what, like, that's just not fun. Like, why don't I learn and grow and keep having new content, better content, getting deeper into things, deeper in with myself and my own familiarity with how the human behavior works, all those things that I can now pass on and help with our trainings, with our one-on-ones, with everything we do. So I enjoy the growth, almost an unhealthy obsession with growth.
No. I call it, here's my way of talking about it. What I wished for early on in life, because I probably have had, 100 jobs. I started working early. Factory jobs, I've had those, right?
Yeah, I had them. Yeah.
And I remember going, okay, the one thing I don't want in life is to be bored.
Yeah.
Right? I just don't want to be bored. Well, I got to tell you, I have not been bored for a minute. So it's, and there's been times when I've had little low times, but bored, not generally. There's plenty to do. The bigger challenge is prioritizing, focus.
Yes.
Right? Being able to make sure I've got my right focus at any given time.
Give me a call. Tim Lennon, 404-368-2607.